I can't stop making videos today. I ended up staying home from work today, actually. I was so sore this morning when I woke up. Got lots of old injuries from through the years. Separated ribs, broken shoulder, various different sprains and twists and turns and overworked joints and tens of thousands of miles on my legs. So sometimes, I don't know, I guess just this heat this week is part of the case too. Probably got a little bit dehydrated. But it took me a while to get loosened up this morning. So here I am, hanging out, making videos. But one of the things I've been thinking about lately, in addition to all my other various thoughts, is how many men today spend their time whining about how hard it is to be a man, you know? I mean, men, you know, of course, back in the day, they were expected to, you know, kind of tough it out, kind of like the whole British stiff upper lip thing, and just do what had to be done. And it was not expected to be easy. And as the old expression goes, you don't have to like it, you just have to do it, you know? And a lot of people today, they can't handle that. You know, if it's something they don't like, well, then they're not going to do it. Whether or not they need to or should be doing it, or it's just what they have to do if they want to make a living and pay the bills or whatever, they don't really care about that, you know? And it is true, obviously, men have emotions just like anybody else. And sometimes men have been driven to the point, you know, where they're just like the breaking point, because they their emotions and everything are all bottled up, and they can't express them, and their feelings aren't really taken into account, and you know, sometimes it just gets to be a heavy burden. But still, man or woman, you know, whatever, we all have things we need to do, and it just has to be done, you know? And men used to understand that. But it seems like today, you know, men want to whine about how hard it is to be a man. And I understand sometimes, you know, you get a raw deal these days. You know, all the women who whine about toxic masculinity, and they pretty much try to make men feel bad about being a man. You know, they try to raise their children so they hate anything that's manly. The young boys, they try to convince them not to act like men. You know, maybe be a metrosexual, or better yet, why not be trans and just like totally reject the idea of being a man. So it's not the easiest time to express, you know, actual manly traits. And a lot of people just do not appreciate even the fact that we need men in the world, you know? And so it makes it hard for guys. That's one of the reasons you see so many people getting so frustrated with things. You talk about all the guys, you know, like the whole passport bro guys and all that stuff. People moving overseas to find women who still appreciate having someone, you know, a man who acts like a man. Because back here in the States, you got the women who want to try and emasculate you and just run you down if you like anything that involves, you know, normal male behavior through the years. It's society-wide, basically. You see a lot of people who, you know, if you like to hunt or fish or do outdoor stuff, or, you know, even things that have to do with self-defense and so forth, owning a gun, you'll see people who just freak out, you know, oh my God, how can you be like that? And like you're an evil criminal. If really, you know, the founders of our country, if they were alive today, they would be considered, you know, radical extremist terrorists for wanting things like individual liberty and being allowed to express their own opinion and not have the federal government micromanage everything they say or believe. And that's basically what we've come down to today. But still, um, being a man, it's just what you have to do if you're a man, you know? And I know a lot of times people don't like the expectations. You see a lot of guys who, it's like with the whole thing, finding a woman who can pitch in and help pay the bills and the rent and everything. Obviously, here in America, it's pretty hard to, unless you have a 2-income family anymore, to get by, you know, because you have to have a hell of a job to be able to afford to buy a house and raise kids and stuff like that as just a single earner family. We, look at things in the Philippines. Of course, we had a conversation about this a while back. A lot of guys talking about trying to find somebody to help them over there who can contribute with the bills and so forth. And it's kind of difficult over there considering, how little people make, and probably not going to move over there and find a woman who's going to be able to pitch in to any huge extent. Obviously, there are, people who are married to women over there who are working and making some money and things like that. But in terms of trying to really split your bills or something like that, good luck trying to find that. And a lot of guys who move over there to the Philippines, they've got a limited amount of income, and they don't really want to spend their money taking care of some woman. A lot of them have moved over there, though, to get away from the women here. I don't know. As a man, sometimes you just have to do what you've got to do. And you can't really whine about, oh, my wife this, my wife that, or, you'll hear people whining about Tompo and things. If you got hooked up with somebody who's just that extreme, that it's that big of an issue, then you probably shouldn't be with them anymore, There are little things in life we all have to deal with. And, just like our wives have to put up with our shit, How many perfect men are there? I'm not perfect. I can tell you that. I look back on my life and all the mistakes I've made, the stupid things I've done, and I'm just glad that all that embarrassing, stupid stuff wasn't captured for eternity by someone's cell phone cameras and things like that, which we didn't have around when I was younger. Sometimes I think about things in my past and I'm like, oh my God, I hope nobody ever remembers that, And women have to deal with all of that from us, People have to put up with each other. We have to put up with women, but women have to put up with us. And so many people today have drawn these battle lines with men versus women and acting like there's some kind of a war. And it doesn't have to be that way. There are some people who view it that way. Obviously, some of these women who just hate men. You've got this, these radical, far left kind of, basically just like lesbian man haters who want to erase any trace of masculinity from society. And people like that, okay, yeah, there's a little bit of a war going on there, But as a general rule, especially if you're involved with a woman or married to someone, obviously she doesn't hate men or she wouldn't have gotten married. So that's a different situation there. You're just both going to have to put up with each other. And sometimes as men, there are expectations placed on us. Some of us who are older, even if, I'm the kind of person, I've been on my own a lot through the years, lived a kind of selfish life, drifted around, pretty much done what I wanted to for the most part. Single for, the majority of my life. And I didn't really have to try and explain to someone why I was going to do what I wanted to do. But when you're involved with someone and married to someone, those are the kind of, things you have to do. That's part of the equation. And even me, having not really been involved that much sometimes in my life with someone who I had to take, their feelings and needs into consideration before I made a decision about what I wanted to do. Still, I understood that that's part of being a man. That's part of being, involved with someone else and being married, is that sometimes your needs and so forth have to be subjugated to the other person's needs. That's the whole equation. There's no way two people can be involved with each other and both of them always have their desires and needs perfectly being satisfied 100% of the time. It's not going to happen. Hopefully you can find somebody that has the same kind of goals in life as you, and you enjoy being together, and you have a friendship and a partnership, and you just like each other's company, and you're making a life and a family together. But this concept that a lot of people have where they feel like they need to be happy all the time and that someone else should be responsible for helping them be happy. Just a little bit of a news flash. Everybody else in this world doesn't really care if we're happy or not. And it's so crazy for people to expect that everybody else is supposed to care about what they think, or, are you happy or not? So you're happy. All right. What difference does that make to everybody else? The other 8 billion people on this planet, they don't care. If you're happy, if you're unhappy, makes no difference to them. If you want to be happy, be happy. Being happy is a decision that you make. It's a choice. And too many people, they are not happy. Instead of finding a way to be happy, they want to sit around and whine about how other people aren't making them happy. That's not what other people are here for, to make you happy. Every single one of us is here on our own. The brutal fact of the matter is that we are born alone and we die alone. And a certain aspect of our life is always going to be done on our own.